Hello and welcome to another episode of Never a Straight Answer, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host, Gaz, and joined the pocket submarine himself, Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, nice one. Thank you. Yeah, don't forget your pocket submarine.
Don't put him on dragons then. That's all I'll say. It's like, right, I've got an invention.
Yeah.
The pocket submarine.
I think it'll work, mate. I think it'll work.
You're fucking crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
It's never going to fly.
Really,
it's never going to fly.
Well, no, it's supposed to stay in the sea.
True.
That pocket.
Bubbles. Anyway, welcome.
Yeah.
It's our 99th episode. Do you want to flake with that?
Oh, yeah, please.
Well,
yeah.
It's a slightly spooky episode.
It is.
Of the Never a Straight Answer podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Whew, thanks for joining us. From repeat offenders to new listeners alike.
Everywhere.
Around the world, we thank you for joining us. Yes, we do.
It's great.
We've got a great show coming up for you.
We have.
Got a special guest this week.
Ooh,
I love it when we get guests in.
Oh, yeah.
We got Jade from the Ghost Club Paranormal, who will be answering our questions on ghosts, hauntings, and the paranormal investigation.
She will.
Paranormal investigating.
She will.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That's coming up a little bit later on in the show. But before that, got to ask you, it's been a week.
It has.
What have you been up to?
Well, busy, but not really doing that much.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been busy, but not. I've been busy. But go on, tell us about what you've been doing.
Just a little computer bit here and there.
Oh, you got your computer?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, finally got it.
Join the World Wide Web, guys.
Yes.
It's all like modern and up to date and technology.
I needed to get an up to date one. Yeah,
totally. So, how are you finding it?
Yeah, it's all right. I'm still trying to do the tweaks on it and
get it set up to how your preferences.
Yeah,
fair enough. It's always nice when you get a new machine, new laptop or tablet or whatever, and you can kind of start messing with it.
Yeah.
We used to do this thing, we call it self-ring Christmas present.
Oh yeah.
And it was like we'd noticed it was an observation of people, do you know, when they get a new phone, and they'd do that, like going through all the ringtones, and it'd be like, self-ringing themselves to make them feel like they had something going on. I'm using my phone, check my phone, you know what I mean? So it was self-ring Christmas present.
Vain, very vain.
It's true. But yeah, I thought that was hilarious. So yeah, but I love getting a bit of new kit and a bit of new tech, because obviously you get to go and have a play with it, don't you?
I've never been on the computer so much.
Have you not?
As I have been lately, it seems to be I'm getting up.
Good, do a bit of work.
To the computer, doing all the work, straight to bed again.
There you go, man. That's cool. Man. Yeah, so I'm glad you're pleased with it anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
What have I been doing? Just basically, it's been a great week for the podcast. Loving the community, as usual. And thank you to everyone who's shown us some love and support this week. It's been good. Other than that, bit of season 2 of The Boys. Dropped 3 episodes on Amazon Prime Video yesterday.
Bit disappointed, weren't you?
I was a bit, because it was like, usually when you get these seasons, you know, especially on, you know, streaming sites, it's like drop the whole series, don't they?
Yeah.
So I was kind of geared up yesterday. I was like, all right, I'm going to settle down. I'm going to binge watch all of season 2. And then it was like, it's the only 3 episodes.
It's tough.
And I thought, I'm sure that they're on the way.
Sure,
and then I looked into it, and it was like, no, they're going to drop one every Friday now up until the 6th of October. So I think, like, I was kind of disappointed, because obviously I was geared up to watching the whole series. But obviously they've got that many streaming sites to compete with now.
Yeah.
That they've got to kind of do things to kind of keep subscribers.
Yeah.
So obviously, drawing it out over a period of a few weeks, whereas, you know, people might join Amazon Prime just to watch that one series, smash it, and then they don't renew the next month. But if they drag it out over a few months, then you're tied in, aren't you, really?
Yeah.
So I understand why they do it. It's just a bit like, come on.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pain when things start changing. It's a changeable times, isn't it?
True.
Everything's changing.
What else you been doing? Bits of that, bits of that,
just
bits of this.
Just trying to find bits of knowledge and
finding bits of knowledge. I do agree with. I think everyone should be out there.
I think every day you should learn at least
a bit of knowledge
something new every day. Well, at least one thing.
I've had a bit of a creative week. Been painting, but I've been painting in the DIY sense as well as the creative sense. So I might show you what I've painted on the 100th episode, because we have been asking people to take part and drop us some of their fan art.
Yes.
Or it doesn't have to be fan art. It just could be like Alien or Bigfoot or kind of anything we cover on the show. Anything related like that. Draw us something. Send us something. Yeah, a bit late to send us something physical now, as the 100th episode is next week.
It is.
So you might get something in if you act quick, but obviously you can still digitally send us something. That's true, or take a photo and send us, and we can show it on the 100th episode.
We can, and we will.
And we've had some great stuff sent, so so I'm looking forward to showing the gallery next week. It's all cool. So don't forget, join us on YouTube next week. We'll be posting links when we're live, and we'll try and get some times up.
Pop on, say hello.
But you can send us something if you want to send us just like a photo or like something fun. You can send it to us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com, or go to the website and you'll see a tab there for the 100th episode live show, and there's a little contact form there you can fill in if you want to ask us a question. Random the better. Do that. Plus we've also got a raffle.
We have.
And you can get tickets over there.
And it ends on that day as well,
It does, yeah. The draw is on the 12th of September, where you can win £100 in Amazon vouchers. All you got to do is head over to the website, follow the link, and you can be in with a chance to win. I think raffle tickets cost only £1 or $1.
Yeah.
And you could win up to win $100.
Yeah.
Or pounds, or whatever, wherever you live.
For a little quid. Back of the sofa.
Tickets have been selling fast, actually. So, if there are still a few tickets, so if you want to be in with a chance, get over there. But that's all the business talk out of the way. Well, for the moment.
Yeah.
I've got a riddle for you, though, sir.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I think this deserves a little... we need a little tune for this. Oh, I say this every week.
And I fuck it up every week.
Yeah. Well, I've got two, but I think I'm going to go with this one.
Okay.
Because I think the way your mind operates...
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, it might trip you up, or you might get it
straight.
Yeah. Because the one of them, I picked the riddle because I know how your mind operates, and you're very literal in a lot of ways. Right. So I'm not sure, you'll probably pull me apart about it later. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go with the other one, right?
Yeah.
So you've not done very well.
No. Piss poor.
Yeah. I think when we do a live riddle next week, there's going to be so many people in the chat going, it's this.
Yes.
Yeah. But Mikey's moderating, so...
Yeah. So I might need help from you.
Well, are you ready?
I'm steady.
Riddle me this, riddle me that this week. Right, okay.
Yeah.
You go at red, you stop at green. Yeah. What am I?
Traffic light.
No, and I knew you were going to say that, but no, that's not the right answer.
You stop at red, but you go at green?
No, you go at red.
You go at red and you stop at green?
And you stop at green. What am I?
Is it a racetrack?
No.
Train track?
No, why would you say any sort of track?
Because of the lights.
Yeah, but you think of it this: you go at red, you stop at green. What traditional race lighting system is that? You normally go at green and stop at red, don't you? So it's backwards already.
Yeah.
Right. So think about what.
But I've never been a train driver, so I couldn't tell you. You know, that
you see,
I knew
this was going to be fun. I'm going to give you a bit of time to have a think about it while I tell everybody about today's
it's not that
affiliate
down the road, is it?
Well, today's episode is in association with Hello Fresh. Fresh ingredients and easy to follow recipes sent straight to your doorstep. You can enjoy a stress-free home cooking experience. And at the moment, you can get 50% off for your first box and 20% off your second box, third and fourth box. So you can spend less time shopping and cut waste. Apparently, everybody, customers of HelloFresh waste 21% less food because they get it sent. And it's a pretty cool idea. What it does, if you've got a hectic lifestyle and you want a nice meal or whatever, they send... the ingredients as well as the recipe to your door, and you can get it whipped up.
So you don't have to mess around going shopping or that's going to be out of date. That's going to be.
It's all there, isn't it? Well, there you go. If you want to get involved, get on that.
Good idea.
Follow the link in the description to HelloFresh.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Well, this week we're going to check out we've had an email, right? Yeah. So, email from Jason, and he lives in Conway in North Wales.
Oh, right. Okay.
And he's been telling me about this urban legend that's local to him.
All right.
And it's Welsh, so there's a couple of words in here that you've got to bear with me with. So,
all right, okay.
The Anglistor is the name of a foreboding supernatural figure that is allegedly to appear in the village of Llangernyw twice a year on Halloween and the 31st of July. Right, I don't know why the 31st of July is so kind of... I can understand Halloween.
Yeah.
But apparently it appears on the 31st of July as well. And it appears under the churchyard, right? And it's basically... There's a tree there that's been there for 3,000 years.
3,000 years.
Right? So the spectre will announce in Welsh, right, the name of a local parish member who will soon meet their end.
Whoa.
So it's got a kind of like a bit of a Mothman sort of foreboding about it, right?
Can't wait to take the wife.
So according to folklore, right, a tailor named Sian ap Roberts was particularly sceptical about the whole legend.
Yeah.
And was challenged by the villagers to prove the fear that they were fearless about it, and go up to the church on Halloween. And do you know what he saw?
Rabbit.
The Anglistor or whatever it's called, right?
Didn't say his name. No,
you know I'm saying this wrong, so I do apologise. I'm going to get so many...
Yeah, but you're doing good.
Right? So it saw this figure, and it spoke Roberts' name, right?
Oh, shit.
And then he died a year later. No, he died a year later. Yeah.
What of though?
Oh, it just says he duly died a year later.
Old age, like...
Yeah, but it's a bit, obviously... I mean, maybe the worry of the whole situation.
That's why he had the balls to actually go up to the at that time and go, you know what? Fuck it.
Well, why would you tempt fate in that respect?
Well, if he's got no fear. Know what I mean? He's got no fear if he knows he's only got a little bit of time left.
Looking around Conway... Right, I was looking for other urban legends and stuff that was going on around there, and I found a haunted house. Well, it's basically a haunted mansion. It's in the same village, right?
Okay.
In North Wales. It was designed by Sir George Gilbert Scott, and it's like a Gothic revival mansion, and it was basically built between 1861 and 1866.
Yeah.
By Henry Robertson Sambach, whose family had bought the estate back in 1830. So the house has basically been used for loads of different things since.
Yeah.
But basically the Sambach family sold it in the 1930s, and then it's kind of always been known as a haunted mansion, but it's basically just ruins now. Like it's an abandoned mansion.
Right.
And it's supposedly one of the most haunted, places in the area, yeah. So if you're interested in that, I'll kind of leave a link to it. But talking about hauntings, and the paranormal,
there's a lot about.
Well, we've got a very interesting segment right now. Well, tonight we're thrilled to be investigating a super interesting topic: ghosts and ghost hunting. What's involved in tracking down spooky apparitions and trying to make sense of the spirit world and paranormal activity. We're joined by paranormal investigator Jade from the Ghost Club Paranormal. Welcome to the show, Jade.
Hey, Jade.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem. How's it going?
It's going great on my end. How about you?
Oh, all good over here. Well as it can be for 2020, I suppose.
True. Yeah, it's a long year, isn't it?
It's been a drag, but we're trying to make it entertaining for the guys out there. So I mean, in terms of ghost hunting, you're a bit of a ghost paranormal investigator. I mean, how did you decide to become involved in this sort of field?
So with me, it was actually way back in the day. I actually had my first experience with a ghost when I was about 7 or 8, actually. So yeah, that's kind of what got me into the paranormal for a start. And then I've always kind of just gravitated towards the paranormal. It wasn't until I was, when I moved, I'm originally from Scotland, let me add, from Edinburgh, Scotland. I moved over to California when I was 20 years old. And ever since then, I've kind of just been traveling the US and staying at spooky hotels, most haunted hotels. And, I just started buying and investigating equipment, and then kind of just took it from there. So Ghost Club has actually only been a thing for probably about, I would say about 5 months now or something.
Really?
Really? I thought it would be...
Well, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, it's like paranormal's quite, a popular topic, and there's a lot of people who are interested in it, people who have experiences themselves, and, people who want answers. And I think there's people out there who, if you're interested in it, you'll find other people who are interested in it. Yeah. I mean, what do you prefer to be known as, like a ghost hunter or a paranormal investigator? What do you prefer?
I think ghost hunter is a little bit on the cheesy side.
It is a bit Ghostbustery, isn't it? Like,
you got your knives ready.
Yeah, so like paranormal investigator, paranormal researcher is probably a good one as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think paranormal investigator or researcher does sound a bit more kind of like a bit more to be taken seriously.
Yeah, a bit more classic.
Have you ever kind of looked into like the psychical research centres and stuff like that? Like for paranormal activity? Because we were researching one for I think it was the Enfield hauntings, and they were talking about, basically they sent like a paranormal investigator out, and he was from a society called the Centre for Research in Paranormal Activities or something like that.
Yeah.
And but I always find it really fascinating, and these like these clubs that you can actually join. So is this what you do? I mean, are you are you building a sort of a network, I suppose?
So I'm actually like a lone paranormal investigator, and there are a few more of us out there like that. So you'll notice on like Instagram, there's a lot of them. So I don't actually work with like a paranormal team. The whole premise of Ghost Club when I first started it was actually I was going to do these investigations and invite my friends along.
Yeah.
And just kind of have a good time. Like that's what it's about. It's not super intense or anything like that. Like I still like to have a good time. I'm there for the history part as well. And if just ghost hunting is just like a little extra add-on,
Right, okay.
But it's actually turned into, when I started my Instagram page and I started connecting with all these other paranormal investigators, also lone paranormal investigators, talking to them and things like that. I've actually met up with a few of them and have plans to meet up with more as well, like later on in the month.
Are you not afraid that you might be taking on something like unknown, that like that you don't understand, or you could kind of open a doorway to something? I mean,
but I suppose that's why she's going to see other investigators, because passing the knowledge on between each other will hopefully get to enough people and get enough knowledge to.
Well, what do you think, Jade? I mean, is it something that worries you? Do you think like, oh God, is there been any moments where you thought, I think I've bit off a bit more than I can chew here?
Is it getting bigger as well?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question. So with me, meeting up with paranormal investigators and just even talking to paranormal investigators over Instagram or platforms like that, I'm loving the amount of knowledge that they are, I'm learning so much from them. Yeah. And I also have paranormal investigators starting off, and I can teach them things, and that's kind of what it's all about as well, is just kind of getting to know each other, every paranormal investigator does it differently first off, and so some people have specific methods, lessons that they do before they go into a paranormal investigation. With me, what I like to do is I just I think that it's all kind of in the mind with me. I just kind of surround myself with a white light and go in, and I also wear this pendant around my neck that I think that does protect me from darker entities and things like that. But as far as what were we saying again? Sorry, I've completely lost my
train of
thought.
It was saying in terms of like the communities, and like you were saying, you were more of a lone, a paranormal investigator, but the idea of kind of maybe biting off a bit more than you could chew, or being in a situation where you were a bit kind of uncomfortable, or felt that you were glad to have company that in that situation, because, and if you could elaborate on what that situation was, that'd be great, because I mean, like, obviously from my perspective and from the listeners' perspective, they're kind of like, what happened?
Yeah, and do you do it on your
100%. own? Thanks for keeping me on track, by the way.
Oh, it's all right, no worries at all.
But so biting off more than I can chew, that's where I was trying to get to, was there has definitely been a couple of times where one was an actual investigation, and I've talked about this before, but it was at the Holiday Inn Salt Lake City in Utah. And I went there with my friend. This was a few months back. And there was like a story that went along with it. The Holiday Inn Express. It doesn't sound, super spooky or anything like that. But the story is basically a woman on the 11th floor. She threw her 6 children off the balcony and then jumped to her death as well. So, yeah, there was, there's that story. That was back in the 60s. But when I went with my friends, we went to the 11th floor, and honestly, we didn't really think that we were going to capture much or anything like that.
We have talked about this murder hotel before, haven't we?
I think we have.
Is this where Eliza Lamb went missing, or was this somewhere else? Because I think there was this hotel in. Is this where you're talking about? This particular hotel is known for suicides.
No, I think the one that you're talking about is in Los Angeles. I forget the name of it.
I might be mixing up a couple of hotels here, but anyway, we're off track.
There's
a lot of haunted hotels. Yeah,
yeah, definitely a lot of haunted ones.
It's great. It's great for paranormal investigators. That's it's true. Like, and you get a bed for the night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's true. And honestly, when I stayed at the Holiday Inn Express, I genuinely thought that I was going to get a good night's sleep, and we did not sleep at all. Well, we maybe got like an hour of sleep or something.
So what sort of things were happening?
So when we went to the 11th floor, we were staying on the 5th floor because we couldn't, I don't know, they weren't taking reservations for the 11th floor. But when we went up there, my friend, she got affected really bad, like right off the bat. She was starting to feel dizzy, and I have some of these clips on my Instagram as well. I'll upload like a 5-minute video.
I think I might have seen one of the videos actually. I think of some chaos in a hotel sort of corridor.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. So she just started getting she was affected like emotionally from that.
Freaking
and
out.
That is not in her personality whatsoever to act that way. And she's actually kind of like a little bit of a skeptic as well. So I was like,
that makes
so for the person who's kind of against it starts kind of being affected, then I think there's something to that.
Yeah, and then she actually ended up crying, and she was just like, no, I can't do it, like I'm leaving. I was like, all right, okay, that's fine. Like, and I was in the mind frame that I was going to go back up to the 11th floor a little bit later on by myself and conduct an investigation. But once we got back down to the 5th floor, the light was flickering like right outside of our room, and that wasn't doing it before. And then we get into her room, and she felt fine, and then I started to feel affected. It was almost like whatever had attached itself to her had then attached itself to me.
I was about to say that, because they say that they do attach themselves to people. Mm-hmm. I think in some of the sort of research I've done in terms of like poltergeists and unfriendly spirits, shall we say, they usually kind of there's no kind of problem 1 minute, and then there's an incident or something happens, and then literally they've got this sort of bad presence or bad mojo attached. Do you know?
Yeah, it's sort of like something's kicked it off for some reason.
Sparked it off, or kind of or they've got some sort of link, or I don't know what it is, but it's like you were saying there. I mean, if it's something that's a negative influence, it's obviously attached to your friend, and then chose to detach and move on. Do you know what I mean? It's quite scary to think.
Did you manage to get any smells or Listen,
can you smell something?
Yeah, because in my experience, you generally have a smell with a spirit. Do you get much of that?
There's definitely people associate with smells. If you smell like perfume, or there could be kind of like a bad smell and things like that. Not in that hotel. I never got that. But what happened with me was when she was fine and she was watching some videos on her iPhone, and it was like the sound of like waves.
Oh,
but
right.
like I was not hearing waves. Like I was hearing, it sounded like it was like somebody speaking, almost like kind of like The Exorcist, like when you got like a demon like speaking like gibberish,
freaky. Like talking in tongues.
I was hearing that coming from the waves, and I was like, what are you watching? Like, why are you watching that? And she was like, what? Like, I'm watching waves. And I was like,
was she trying to calm herself down as well?
No, I think somebody just sent her a video and she just opened it, and it was just like a video of like somebody on the beach or something like that, but nobody was talking.
Sounds kind of ultra.
How do you mean?
With
you mean like sort of subliminal messaging and stuff like that?
Underneath the waves.
It's funny that she received that video.
And you actually noticed and she didn't.
Yeah,
that was the funny bit that I thought.
I mean, so I take it you've seen a few ghosts then?
I've seen one physical ghost, yes. Everything else, I mean, I had like a poltergeist house. I've seen things move and heard things, but as far as like an actual ghost right in front of me, yes, I have seen one.
Right, and how did you react? What was the situation? Did you kind of freak out, or was you quite calm? Or
so this one, when this was the first ghost, like I mentioned this in the very beginning, that's kind of what got me into the paranormal. I was about 7 or 8 years old, and this, like, it wasn't a figure of my imagination, because I did freak out afterwards, and my whole family were there and they know this story. But kind of in a nutshell, what happened was my dad went outside. This was in Edinburgh, and he went outside and I went to go look for him, and I couldn't find him. And I went out onto the street and I was kind of looking around and I couldn't find him. And then when I went back to the flat, it was inside the staircase in the flat, and we lived on the second floor. And I get outside the flat door, and I just had this feeling that somebody was watching me, and I thought that he was actually playing a joke on me, and I thought that he was maybe hiding up like in the stairway, like up the very top. So I look up the stairway and I'm looking up and I'm going, Dad. And then when I look down, there was just a woman standing there in the very bottom of the steps.
Whoa.
And she's floating about 3 feet off of the ground, and she's all in black rags, and she has a black hood on, and I can't see her face, and she starts floating up towards me. And I'm standing there frozen. I think I dropped a little wee myself now. So fear was the number one feeling.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
go on. And then she speaks.
Whoa, no. That's even... my days.
What did she say?
Hello?
No, she says in the creepiest ghost voice, which I will not try and recreate that, but she said to me, Dad, walk up the street.
Oh, God.
And when she said that, that's when I kind of broke out of that trance, and I ran inside and I locked the door and I run into the living room and I'm freaking out. And then when the buzzer goes, this is about 20 minutes later, the buzzer goes and to get inside the flat, and I go over and I answer it and I'm like, hello? And it's my dad, and he's like, hey, Jade, like, let me in. And I'm like, where were you? And he's like, just let me in. And I'm like, where were you? He's like, just buzz me in. And I was like, where were you? And then he's like, I just walked up the street.
Oh, no. And it's like, they're the exact words.
It was the exact words, exactly, yeah.
Oh, my days. Yeah, that would freak me out.
That's freaky.
Yeah.
That's freaky. Could you recognise the woman that actually said something?
I mean, did you do any investigation in terms of who she could be on the location, the house, any records to say any? This is the thing with Edinburgh. It's so kind of historical. It could be generations old.
So for the listeners, like Edinburgh is built upon another city, and back in 1645 they actually got hit with the Black Plague. So basically what they would do to stop the spread is stuff all the infected people underground, and then they built a city on top of that city, and that is where I was born. That is where the house was, or the flat that I saw this ghost. So I am just going to take a shot here and say that maybe she was one of those people that was affected by the plague, because her clothes were definitely not anything from the 90s when this happened.
In terms of industrial sort of progression, how many bodies are kind of in really bizarre places. We did a whole episode on the London Underground, and basically every station has a haunting, and they basically you can kind of go look at every single station, and they've all got stories. And when you look into the creation of the tunnels, it's all a case of they had to move a graveyard, or they had to move death bodies because they were just basically moving putting tunnels through these areas, and had to relocate everything. So you've got to think, well, disturbing remains. Is there going to be some sort of unrest, if you like?
100%. That's just asking for it. To be completely honest,
I think
moving bodies,
horror movies start like that.
I question what the woman actually said.
What do you mean?
That she actually gave an answer in your turn when you were in time for the ghost to come back. Then that would sense to me that if the ghost,
come on, makes sense.
Yeah, I'm trying to get
there, lad. Come on.
That then as a ghost, it must continue living.
We've talked. No, I get where he's coming from, because, we've talked about spirits being on a different plane to us, and potentially maybe being
at that present,
seeing all elements of time. What I think you're getting at there is she had information or words that came out of your father's lips
that time,
very soon after. It was almost like she was being helpful. Do you know what I mean? She was giving you the information.
But it was like setting concrete. It was only because that was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost though she could see that happening previous, or just maybe pointing out an observation. Do you know what I mean? The fact it's gone up the road.
Yeah, because a lot of people see ghosts and say they're on a path. They're doing the own thing that they did back then before they died and stuff like that.
Or have unfinished business or
so
something like that.
Walking down a certain corridor because that's what happened just before they died and stuff like that.
They're
leaving their sort of like their little bit.
Maybe they're still kind of there doing that sort of moment in time, reliving that moment in time because they're trapped in that moment. They don't know they're dead.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you guys are thinking about, I totally understand where you're coming from, and that is called residual energy.
Yes.
So basically what that is residual energy happens when there has usually been something quite traumatic that's happened. So whether that's a murder or something along those lines. So those people are unfortunately reliving that experience just over and over again. And it kind of falls into the category when people say a ghost is a spirit with unfinished business. That's not necessarily the case, but it's along the same lines.
It's kind of a layman's explanation of it, really, isn't it? It's unfinished business. It's almost like, they're trapped in that moment because...
Yeah, I was trying to think of the word, the area where you
limbo.
Limbo, that's it. It's like trapped in limbo, and until you actually solve that problem, you can't go anywhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, how would you be expected to do that, though? I mean, as is it
obviously
a bit of a
movement?
Sounds like a bit of the system's broken somewhere. Where it's if you're murdered in or die in a horrific way, then you might get trapped in the crack.
That may be the case, though, because we don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, true.
Things do break. You know what I mean?
Well, Well, moving on. I mean, we've talked about how Edinburgh's quite a historical city, and there's a lot of paranormal activity there.
Yeah.
But you're based in California. I mean, what's the paranormal scene? I mean, you said about haunted hotels, but is there much paranormal activity going on in your local area, or do you kind of travel out a bit more and seek out more haunted places?
So yeah, I definitely travel more. California in general, there's definitely stories, reports of hauntings. They usually are in hotels. So I just done an episode on my YouTube channel last week of the Glen Tavern Inn Hotel.
All right,
and that's in Santa Paula, California. And I did pick up some things on that, but what I love to do is go out to the older parts of the US, really, and get those like old mining towns.
Yeah.
And really, because I love the history part of it as well. So there's not too much. Well, obviously there's history in California.
Oh,
but
of course, yeah.
As far as like haunted buildings go, there's not too many.
We were talking about this earlier, I think. I mean, I love those old kind of haunted mining towns. They're so kind of where they're built for a purpose, but then obviously once the mining stops or whatever, it just kind of
stops going in,
it dries up, and they end up becoming these sort of like haunted, abandoned towns, which are really cool to be in, I suppose. But in terms of like.
You ever been to Skinwalker Ranch?
Oh yeah, that's a good.
No.
Yeah, that's a good one too. That'd be a good little
Yeah.
investigation for you.
I
There's
think
so much
that's
paranormal
private
activity
property,
going on.
so you can't just like walk onto that, and it's actually been taken over by another owner.
It has actually,
and, and he's kind of turning it a little bit into. I mean, this is what I've heard. Really, is he's kind of turning it into more of like a show.
Yeah, I mean, they've put webcams everywhere, so you can kind of like view it online, and
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can kind of watch the skies
bought for like
of
$7 million
Skinwalker
or something. It was bought for a massive amount of price.
Yeah, because I think who owned it? There was someone big owned it.
Yeah, but then a company owned it, and then some other family owned it, and they owned it for a little while because as soon as he walked in, they started getting scared, and then bits happened, and then straight away they wanted to sell it on again, and it took them years to sell it.
So, I mean, Taylor obviously wouldn't mind going over to Skinwalker. Is he anywhere that you know, like a dream location where, I mean, you probably have to get permission, but you'd love to do an investigation?
I actually do have a dream location, and this is a little bit on the random side. And it is actually in California, though, surprisingly.
All right, only down the road.
Yeah, it's actually, if I had to choose to investigate a location, it would be the Playboy Mansion.
Hey, I'd launch an investigation there as well.
Yeah.
For totally different reasons. I'd be like, Hugh, sorry, mate.
Gloves.
We're looking for ghosts.
Well, Hugh Hefner died there, so he's maybe there.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why would you leave?
Yeah, just go to his bedroom, he'd be there.
Hey, there you go. That is actually a really good answer. Thanks.
Even before he died, though, there was reports of that place being haunted, and I can only imagine like some weird things went down in that mansion that haven't been,
definitely
out to the public. So,
well, this is the thing, isn't it? Isn't it crazy how, like, I mean, I'm totally, you've got all this stuff going on about like certain celebrities or certain elites, having parties.
Yeah.
But Hugh Hefner did it for years and years, and just was like,
parties, man.
Mate, whatever goes on at the Playboy Mansion, and it's like this understanding of whatever goes on there, and that's it. Yeah. It's like, I bet so many shady deals went on, but nobody asked questions because it's the Playboy Mansion.
Without a doubt, at least one shady deal went down there.
It's like, we know what goes on.
Yeah. So, now it's the after party.
Anyway, we could talk. Well, that's another topic. Yeah. We'll do shady deals at the Playboy Mansion next week. Have a straight answer.
Yeah,
definitely. So, I mean, that's actually a really interesting one. So what would you do to go to try and find Hugh?
Yeah, after a little swim in the grotto, of course.
Oh, obviously. It'd be rude not to, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You have to report it.
I love like vintage I collect like vintage Playboy magazines and stuff like that. I love to just collect old things in general. I have some haunted objects and things like that. Okay. So I've always kind of had like this, this idea. Like when Hugh Hefner died, actually, I did go to the Playboy Mansion, and but obviously just outside the gates.
I was going to say, did you manage to get in?
Yeah, I didn't get in, unfortunately.
This is. Sorry, go on.
But I was just going to say, like, so I kind of saw the devastation, like, once that had happened.
Yeah.
And everyone was leaving flowers out there and things like that. And that was kind of sad. But, gosh, yeah, to get the key to the Playboy Mansion lockdown overnight to investigate would be an absolute dream.
Let's try and make that happen.
Yeah.
Gotta make that happen. Yeah.
Start a GoFundMe.
Yeah, we'll start a GoFundMe.
That's a good idea.
Investigation into the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah.
I mean, where's the most haunted place that you've been to? I mean, that Playboy Mansion's your ideal, but where's the most haunted you've been to up to date? Would you say it was that hotel in Salt Lake City?
That's the one that affected me the most, I would say. I've investigated a few other haunted places, but it's not the case all the time, unfortunately. Some places that I go to that are deemed haunted, sometimes activity doesn't happen.
Yeah, because that's it. It's all about kind of like timing, I suppose, isn't it? I mean, you can't guarantee, even if a place is known to be, have, quite prolific activity, you can't always rely on it happening for you that night. And, I mean, ghost shy. I mean, I'm told that my house is haunted, right? But I believe that some people are more susceptible than others. And whereas I don't bother them, they don't bother me, we equilibrium and all that. Yeah. Whereas some people come in my house and go, what was that noise? And they get a bit weirded out. Do you know what I mean?
Bit of wind.
Like, but I've never seen anything, so it doesn't really bother me. So, I think, where were we going with this?
Well, no. Have you ever actually investigated your house before?
No, this is it. I was told that someone was going to come round and do it, but they never did. So,
have you ever actually gone to a place and thought it was a total waste of time?
Nah, I wouldn't say it was I don't think any of them is a waste of time, because I usually do pick up on something.
Yeah.
The biggest, I would say, problem that I run into is picking up things on the actual paranormal equipment that I use. Like,
I was going to ask about your equipment.
I can go into a place and just automatically be like, whoa, like it feels heavy. Like, in my last investigation that I'd done in the Glen Tavern Inn, what was really frustrating, and on the video, like, you'll actually see how frustrated I get, is every single time I turned the camera off, and I was filming about 80% of that time. I had hours of footage. Every single time I turned that camera off, something would happen on a piece of my equipment. Like, it was just starting to get to the point. I was like, okay, there's something here, but it's like a menacing ghost, I guess.
Yeah. Little cheeky little bugger.
Yeah, because that's it. I mean, if I was a ghost, I'd be like, hi, you want to record me, do you? Yeah. No way.
Well, that actually brings me totally back to the point that you just said about the most haunted place where I've ever been. Or investigated, and I actually want to say that the most haunted places that I've been in houses growing up.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, yeah, because as I mentioned, like the poltergeist house, like that was crazy. Like things were moving out all the time. The ghost, that I saw in the flat that I was brought up in, those are like the most haunted places I've ever been. And that's what I'm trying to capture in these videos on YouTube. That's the whole...
Well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, this is it. It's like, I think the problem with kind of what evidence is around now is it's very sparse. I think if somebody was to kind of capture something definitive, then it'd be a real game changer. I'm not saying that, this afterlife or this spirit world doesn't exist. It's just I'm very kind of optimistic in this respect, but it's like I want to be able to... have confirmation. Do you know what I mean? And I think it put a lot of people's minds at rest in a lot of different ways. Do you know what I mean? Having a bit of sort of clarity on the whole spirit.
Experience. That's what I want to know. I want to know if like over the time, is it becoming more of an experience. More and more people are finding examples of ghosts.
Do you think it's more prevalent today than it ever has been, or do you think that it's always been as kind of ghost stories are as old as time, aren't they, really?
Yeah.
I think that like I was actually just talking about this the other day, I think that back in the day I heard way more stuff about ghosts, your family members, like my family members and their friends. When I was growing up, it was always like, I just saw a ghost. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I was so intrigued by these ghost stories that people had. But, my friends and family now don't really, talk about it. And they don't really have experiences as much as, I remember.
Yeah, she's right. When we were growing up, there was seemed to be most people had a family experience with
there was at least one on the street
or something. Like you say, there was one on the street.
Yeah,
or there was a haunted house in the area. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas now, I think it's because everywhere has been redeveloped. So, you're saying about history and about kind of places not having as much history, well, maybe not, but maybe it'll start developing and being seen. It's like you see with videos on YouTube a lot where it'll be office buildings, where there'll be some activity going on at night when no one's around in an office building, and it'll be caught on CCTV.
Well, a guy in Birmingham just found it in the bit.
That's kind of like a good indication that maybe that office building never used to be there, and something else was there beforehand, and and now this spirit's moved in.
Seem to be opening up the ground a lot and finding more and more bones.
Well, you were talking about your kit earlier and what equipment. What sort of equipment do you use? What's in your average investigation kit bag?
So with me, I usually bring my digital recorder, which is kind of, if you do feel like your house is haunted, just a little side note, a lot of investigators will say, do not investigate your own house. That is not the case with me, though. I've definitely investigated my house before because weird things happen, and it's the curiosity,
Of course, yeah.
So, yeah.
Why did he say don't investigate your own house? Is it just a paranoia thing?
It's the, you touched on this earlier, it's kind of just, you don't want to acknowledge the ghost,
Okay.
So if there's a spirit in your house, you don't want to acknowledge it because then it's going to want more attention, and then the activity is going to ramp up.
Okay,
you don't know how powerful these things could be, so you just kind of just ignore it.
I can say
live and let live, or
it's
whatever.
Not bothering me. I'm not going to bother it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
well, my house was built in 1889. So I've got a lot of... My house is quite old, to be honest. That's why it makes me think that there's been a lot of chapters, if you like.
Yeah, like what those walls have seen over those years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So go on, sorry.
And I feel like walls as well, they contain energy from the previous owners.
Well, you touched on something earlier that I want to go into in a moment, but about kind of haunted objects. But so you take your digital recorder in.
Yes. Digital recorder is good for anybody who thinks that their house might be haunted or just wants to kind of play around with the whole paranormal investigator thought.
That's just an audio recorder, just listening out for any sort of sounds, any voices, anything like that. So it's a long process, I take it, reviewing all that sort of footage.
It is, yeah. It's a whole process, but on that Glen Tavern, I keep on referring back to the Glen Tavern Inn just because that's the last investigation.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah.
But I caught really good EVP, and so basically I had my camera filming and hit record on the digital recorder, and whilst talking to the camera and things like that, I'm wearing a jacket with tassels on it, like a cowboy jacket, because I was trying to get in touch with the cowboy spirit. So,
excellent. Yeah. So you've got you got to dress for the occasion, definitely.
Of course.
You have to, yeah. Sometimes those are kind of called trigger objects. So I brought whiskey and my cowboy hat and my jacket, and I brought cards and stuff like that to kind of ramp up the activity.
Sort of burn a cigar to get a smell and those types of things. Yeah, so sort of kind of create an atmosphere.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That.
Yeah. And then whilst I was recording on my EVP, on my digital recorder, I felt a tug on like my tassels. It felt like somebody had just pulled the tassel on my arm. And as that happened, like the moment before that happened, I turn around and I acknowledge it. And I'm like, I felt like somebody just pulled on my tassel, but whatever. And then when I was reviewing the EVP on the digital recorder, I actually, right before that moment happened, I hear a guy just go, hello. And it sounded like he was right there in the room with me. And then a split second later, I feel that tug. And I didn't hear that at the time. But then obviously I was able to
pick up
match up the audio with the video and really see like when that voice came into play. So
it's a shame there's no technology to try. So
it's amazing that certain pieces of equipment pick up certain aspects and others don't. You know, and others don't. So it's like, you know, like you're saying there, she has to match up the audio with the video to kind of try and pinpoint that moment when she felt the tug. But also, it's like, you know, that audio recorders, digital recorders are able to pick up those frequencies that our ears can't. Yeah. But are able to compress and play back. It's crazy, do you know? So that's quite interesting. Do you think, you know, how important is the paranormal equipment and technology, do you know, to paranormal investigations? Do you think? Do you think it's kind of getting better, or because obviously you see the Ghostbusters and they're going around with the PKE meters and stuff like that? You know, is that kind of, you know, the type of thing? Do you take these sort of like EMF readers that you mentioned? What other bits and pieces do you have?
So yeah, the EMF reader is a good one because that picks up on it's like electromagnetic fields. So it's just kind of like just energy. If you put your hands over like an EMF reader, like a REM pod, then the lights, you know, blink and stuff like that. And the reason why, this is my thought on it anyway, the reason why I have multiple pieces of equipment is because the more evidence, the better.
Obviously.
Totally.
If I'm asking a question, if I'm getting that feeling there's somebody here with me, and I ask a question, let's say I get a disembodied voice on the digital recorder that says hello, and then I have a REM pod set up, and then all of a sudden that thing hasn't been blinking, but all of a sudden now it's blinking, and I feel a tug, and you know what I mean? Like all these pieces of equipment, when it comes together like that is strong evidence that there's something there. Yeah. So unfortunately, like I would love to just, you know, on YouTube just say, hey, I feel something here. I felt something tug on me.
Yeah, but having evidence to back it up obviously is going to go a long way in improving what you're saying, obviously. And I mean, I've seen videos on YouTube and stuff about using like infrared video that seems to pick up figures. I mean, have you had any experience in that? What are your thoughts on that? I don't know whether to believe it or not, whether it's some sort of camera trickery and it's just bogus videos, or it's actually something to it. Or do you have any kind of information or experience in that?
It's the same thing, really. Like I believe, like an EMF, you know, it's or an EVP. Sorry. It's just that thing that our ears don't pick up on. It's the same thing. Like our eyes just don't usually pick up on that certain thing.
Spectrum.
So I don't really use that as much because I have like my set things that I like to use more. But yeah, like that's the thing is like, and kind of touching upon what we were just talking about as well about like do I think that more stories or more hauntings happened back in the day or just now? Is a lot of people, sadly, out there do fake their videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it?
Shame, man.
I came across a really good poltergeist video, and I was like convinced that it was a legit video. And then I found out it was like how he did it, and you know, he put out a series of these videos from his kitchen. You might have seen them. It was pretty kind of prominent in the views. You know, when you search poltergeist videos, I think it's probably one of the top that come up, and it's just literally set up a camera from his kitchen table. No one's in the room, but then everything just starts going. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everything's going crazy.
It's such a
good video. it does make you feel a bit on edge. And but then a bit later on, I found out that it was done with camera trickery and techniques, and it was like, so it's a shame that it kind of. But on the other hand, it is quite entertaining.
Well, they're trying to do it for the entertainment, aren't they?
Well, no, I think they're trying to make it like, you know, the more realistic you can make it look. Then
but like the fact comes that when the real evidence comes, then that gets thrown to the burner with all the other hoaxes. That's
true.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the major.
Well, that's the thing that's what I always said about, you know, people kind of crying wolf, and how many people, you know, in this day and age, if there was a second coming of Jesus, they'd just lock him away because he'd just be like, whatever, mate, and we got another one.
Yeah,
do you know?
There's about 7 in there.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Buddha's in the corner. Look out.
What was it? I've got a couple more questions. What was it? You were talking about haunted objects earlier.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that quite interests me. I mean, in terms of like, there's always these stories of haunted dolls, and you know, possessed dolls, I suppose. I mean, why would you buy a haunted object? Why would you keep
not necessarily know that he was haunted until you got it home?
Well, no, I think Jade does know. That's the point.
Okay,
I do know. So on
is it haunted?
My YouTube,
go on,
I posted a video. I bought a haunted doll on eBay because there are so many haunted objects on eBay, and I love the fact that, you know, like ghost in a bottle.
I put a ghost in a jar on eBay.
Yeah,
did you really?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it didn't sell.
No.
I got a lot of questions about it. Asked is the ghost a male or a female?
Yeah.
And what did it die of and all sorts. We had to come up with an elaborate backstory.
Wait, so you tried to sell that on eBay?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We put it.
There wasn't a real ghost, or was there a real ghost in there?
No, it was just a jar.
Don't worry, though. We did let it out.
It was like our word against theirs.
Yeah. It was in there when we sent it.
Yeah, if there was no ghost in it, exactly. The postman must have let it out.
Yeah, he must have thought, empty jar, open it up, and it escaped.
So, so go on, haunted objects.
Well, here's the thing: is totally like the reason why I done that video was to figure out if, you know, it's legit. Like, so I bought a haunted doll, and I bought her for $66.66.
Yeah.
Of course, she's haunted, right? But I did when I brought her back and I opened her up and I'd done the unboxing and everything like that. Her name's Aurora. And the description of her was she's a vile doll, and she likes to burp and walk around, and she she messes with like animals if you have like a pet and stuff. Right. And when I opened up the box, she is a creepy doll. But I'd done a spirit box session with her, which is basically just like it's like a kind of like radio. It scans through radio frequencies and like white noise, and spirits can communicate through that as well using their energy. They can pull different words out, which is, you know, some people don't. I think I've seen
spirit box stuff before, actually. Vaguely.
I don't think I've seen it.
There's definitely like different thoughts on the spirit box. My thing is I do believe in that spirit boxes do work. If you get intelligent responses through it, sometimes I put the spirit box on and, you know, it's just, I can tell that there's nothing there. It's just radio frequencies and stuff like that. Yeah. But when it does work, like it's pretty cool. Like you'll see in that video of me buying the haunted doll, I'm asking questions and I'm getting these intelligent responses through the spirit box, and I'm getting a female voice and a male voice coming through. But as I said, this was done in my house that I know is haunted. I even had to get a priest round and everything like that for it last year.
You had an exorcism?
What was that?
Did you have an exorcism then?
Or just a cleansing?
No, I didn't have an exorcism.
Is it a cleansing like sort of thing where they just kind of freshen up your
put holy water all over
your living aura or whatever. I don't know.
That's what I was hoping for, but he didn't do that. No.
Oh right.
No, I've actually got a book here. I'm looking at it because we were thinking about doing an episode on exorcisms in the future. But it's actually the book that they issue to the priests on exorcisms and possessions. So it's fucked up, like absolutely messed up. It's really good though.
That's like one of my biggest, like, that's one thing, like, I get asked quite a lot, like, do I get scared, or what scares you most? And it's definitely, like, possessions, exorcisms. Like,
well, this is what I meant earlier about biting off more than you could chew. I mean, putting yourself in a position where you're could be face to face with something that you don't know and can't understand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's do you never get kind of like a bit of anxiety about that? I mean, I'd sometimes.
Do you always go with someone else?
Yeah,
not on your own?
I mean, I was going to say, I know you do though, don't you? You've spent nights alone in haunted places.
Yeah, I've started to do that a lot more often. Just kind of bite the bullet and do it alone because I feel like I can get more evidence that way.
Okay, yeah.
But
I have to say that.
I get that, yeah.
Yeah, but as far as the haunted doll goes, I'm not too sure if the doll is still haunted. She still gives me strange vibes, but it could have been something else in the house trying to connect with me.
Right.
The reason why I got the priest over was because last year I done a Ouija board in my house, which is
that's a bad idea.
Naughty, that one.
It's it was kind of stupid on my behalf, and my very first video on YouTube, I think it's called I Summoned a Demon, chill. You'll get the whole story on that experience last year was insane, like the most activity I've had since I was like a teenager. And this was all the month leading up to Halloween last year. And it was just a crazy experience. Me and my friend, we weren't going to do the Ouija board. I'd actually bought it for a prop for my Halloween party that I was throwing that year.
Yeah, but if you got one, you may as well go.
Let's have a little play.
I don't even know how the conversation went. We just ended up doing it. And it was like we were using the Ouija board for maybe 30 minutes 30 seconds, max. And the thing was going like crazy. And then the experiences after that were just so intense. The next morning I woke up and I just felt so depressed, like, and sad.
Really? It's like something a negative sort of energy had come over the house.
Yeah, like attached to me, back to the attachments as well. Like I felt like something was like, I felt like I had a ton of bricks on my shoulders.
Jesus.
And I just had to call up like the Catholic Church and kind of, it was
bloody
so
hell,
embarrassing.
when you're that sure that that you've unleashed something that you need to ring up the Catholic Church.
Well, yeah. I don't think
can you send me an emergency vicar?
Yeah. Did he do that?
I don't know. Well, obviously not.
Yeah,
911.
Did they send someone? Yeah.
Yeah, they sent somebody over. He was over in like 30 minutes, but...
Whoa. Whoa, it's like the first emergency service. Forget the others, they'll be there in 10 days.
Go on,
I have all of this on video, so I really recommend...
I really want to check this video out.
It's the best intro video for Ghost Club because you see just how crazy everything is. I even recorded the priest coming into the house, like through the Ring doorbell and stuff. Yeah. He was like dressed up with like a robe and he had like his little like little exorcism pack and everything like that with him.
That sounds awesome. I'm gonna have to watch this video, and I recommend everyone else does as well.
Oh yeah.
That was this. Well, this leads me to my last question. Can anybody be a paranormal investigator?
Oh, yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, anybody can be a paranormal investigator. You don't have to have like all these experiences. If you're interested in it, go ahead. Like, I honestly just don't make stuff up.
Yeah. Be honest. Be true to yourself and true to what your findings are. If you don't find anything, then tell us you didn't find anything.
Yeah, sometimes the better evidence is that you don't find anything than you do.
You know, it saves other people going down wasting the time.
Well, that's true.
But then again, it's like we've said earlier, just because you don't have an experience in a so-called haunted property doesn't mean that it's not. It just means that
it just ain't messing with you.
Yeah, it doesn't want to play today.
Yeah, you don't want to play with it.
If you like,
wants to leave it alone.
Well, there you go.
And even if you're not interested in actually seeking out, spirits or anything like that, the community itself, like if you go onto like Instagram, like just the community in general, like people are so cool over there. And if you have a question, if you feel like something's in your house, send somebody a message. Send me a message. I literally reply back to all of them. Like,
there you go.
Yeah. Even just join the community. It's so much fun. It really is.
There you go. And where can people find you? Where can people find your channel? Tell us where. Give us all your plugs, promos, all that stuff.
All your deets.
Well, I talked about YouTube, so obviously you can find me over there, Ghost Club Paranormal. I also have my Instagram, again, Ghost Club Paranormal. That's where I kind of post pictures and I do lives. I'm going to start doing more lives with other paranormal investigators. And then the last one is Patreon. If you wanted to share that extra love, you can go over there and follow me on that. And then there's also, if you go on Patreon, I have a ghost sticker club, and basically I create a paranormal sticker every single month, and I'll send it to you with a handwritten letter as well.
Wow, so it's actually like being in a club, like a proper club.
Yeah. Club, exactly.
Yeah. Well, there you go, everyone. Join. Get over to Ghost Club Paranormal.
Yes.
And fulfill your wildest dreams. There you go. Well, Jade, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show this week. So thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us and telling us what's involved in ghost hunting. It's been amazing.
Thank you guys so much. I had such a good time talking with you.
Yeah, I've really had a blast. We'll have to have you on again. Once you've done, when you've been out and you've done some crazy stuff, let us know and we'll be glad to have you back on the show.
Definitely if you do the ranch. Definitely if you do that ranch.
Yeah, what if you do Skinwalker?
Yeah, Skinwalker ranch.
Or Play-by Mansion.
Yeah, definly. Video that one.
Hashtag Pocket Submarine.
I'll set up and we could do like a live from the location.
I will fly in personally.
Yes, you will.
That would be great. Well, thanks again, Jade. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. So we'll catch you again next time, yeah?
Yeah.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Brilliant. Take care.
See ya.
Well, thanks again, Jade, for coming into the show. Really enjoy a bit of paranormal investigation stuff.
It was a great interview, Dan.
Yeah, really. In fact, brilliant interview. Yeah, we'll definitely have Jade back on the show again at some point, telling us about her exploits. But I think it's time for the news. It's the news. Yes, indeed. It's the news.
Yellow submarines for sale.
Submarines for sale. Pocket submarines.
Pocket sale.
Pocket canoes. If you want to buy one, get on Taylor.com. Submarines. We context. We were talking about like being stuck in the snow.
Yeah.
And I think me and Jade were talking about like using a submarine. Digging like a little burrow in or something. I can't remember exactly, but Taylor said, "I'll just get my pocket submarine."
Yeah.
It's easy. Like, what?
It just comes out. Bang. There you are. Nice and cozy in there. You know, you've got all your equipment, everything in there.
This isn't true. This isn't real. This is the news.
Hey, I told you before. I'm just the ideals man.
The ideas man.
The ideas man. Yeah.
He's got them coming out of his ears.
Oh yeah.
Well, have you got any news for me, Mr. Ideas Man?
I got loads of news.
Come on, hit me up with some. We've looked all over the internet for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And we found some absolute belters.
Yeah, some corkers
of absolute weird human behaviour.
Well, I think we should start off with this because it looks like it may be a big turnaround for the BBC TV license.
Go on, what are they doing? Have they kind of gone, oh, go on then, over 70s, you can have it?
Well, basically, the new big boss.
The big cheese.
Yeah.
The big kahuna.
Is
the head honcho.
Going to get rid of a lot of famous stars.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Do you know what? Like, come on, guys, you're old, retire, let new blood in, who we can give them a little less pay. You know what I mean?
I think he's going to have to cut things down.
Let them build their careers up to that point. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
But I think with the BBC, it's like once you're in, it's like that golden handshake, innit? It's like, if you're on EastEnders, you know for a guarantee you're going to be on the bill in Last of the Summer Wine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you've got a career path.
But he's telling people like Gary Lineker, who's written on Twitter, stuff, and he says it's not anything to do with the BBC. It's my opinion. He's even told people off like that now.
Oh, who was?
Yeah.
He's told Gary Lineker
doing
off.
that. Yeah, because
he must make enough off crisps.
You're still working. Well, he's the highest paid there, isn't he?
What is it?
Yeah. When the last
highest paid in the BBC.
Yeah, when the last pay thing come out about him. Yeah, he was the highest paid, I think.
Fair enough, but I think that's a good idea. I mean, in the end of the day, if you can come up with another way of making that money, because from the consumer, from the public eye, it looks shady as anything the way you're operating, and it's like if you can work a way to make the money you need by doing other things, by looking at your staffing and looking not the people who operate and work in the offices. I'm not talking about that sort of staffing.
I'm talking about the big. I'm talking about
the people who are getting massive paychecks. Then let them move on to pastures new or retire or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, use it as like a stepping. I mean, like there has been loads of people who've been picked, but those who haven't, well, you're going to stay there if you don't get picked, aren't you, really?
Yeah, true that.
Do a better job. There you go. Do a better job and you might get picked.
So what's the actual outcome to this? Because of the BBC saying that they're going to review this licence fee debacle or what? From
him, he believes that it's going to end up being a pay-per-view.
Good.
Subscribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've only been saying this for the last decade.
From what he's saying to what he does, let's see what happens, because a lot of them say
and just watch how many people don't subscribe to it.
Well, yeah, they've lost over 3 million easy.
It's like, I'm not being funny, but even when they come up with something that they think's supposed to be really good and groundbreaking, it's like, meh.
Like last week I said, like, there's a bunch in Parliament who want to try and put it on as the law on your council tax, and it's like, but like, if you're going to build something up and you're not getting a lot of revenue in, well, you're not going to build another channel, are you? Because then you're going to need more money, and who's that going to pay that money?
Well, I think
so knock it back.
We've talked about, if you want to listen, we've talked about the
BBC.
Outdated concept. Yeah, that's it. Don't pay it.
Get to the 21st century and stop robbing us.
So, I've got some news stories. We've got plenty of news stories.
Yes, we have.
Did you hear about this one? So, have you ever heard of these stories where snakes size up the victims, and especially when they own them? It's usually pets.
Yeah,
and they'll find them in bed.
Oh yeah.
And they'll lay full length to try and find out whether they can eat them or not.
Yeah.
Well, this doctor has pulled a 4-foot snake out of a woman's throat.
What?
Yes.
A 4-foot snake out of her throat?
Yep. It slithered in while she was sleeping.
Is she alive?
Yeah, she's alive. The creature was reportedly slithered into her throat while she slept in the garden.
Oh.
So she's having a sunbathe. It was out in Russia, southern Russia.
Ah, right.
Obviously not going to be happening in your local garden.
Well, you never know.
You'd hope not.
Yeah.
Well, it depends where you are in the world, I suppose.
Yeah.
But she started feeling unwell. The young woman was rushed to the hospital where she was put to sleep. Basically, they stuck her camera down, and the disturbing footage was that they saw
a snake there.
Basically found something down her throat.
Oh, what?
They've got it out anyway, but there is a video. I'm not obviously we can't play the video, but if you were interested in finding the video, you surely would be able to find it by finding 4-foot snake down woman's throat. There you go. If you're that kind of way inclined, what do you reckon?
Well, it must have been
just crazy because you hear about these things where it's like things get in your ears and your mouth and all the rest of it. She was just happy, chilling in the garden, nice sunny day. She didn't know a snake was going to go slithering down her throat, and the fact that she didn't even. Shut up, Taylor.
No, I'm just thinking, the fact that she didn't she's got knickers on.
It could have slithered somewhere else, I suppose.
Yeah,
good job there, really.
Yeah, well, they do say that
she wasn't just getting an all-over body tan that day.
Well, that's it. You know what? Well, she must have had a big mouth opened at the time for the snake to go in.
I can't believe that she didn't notice.
Yeah, I know. It must have been a skinny little. It must have been like
4 foot.
Yeah, I know it in length, but what about the width of the fucker?
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, what about the girth? Yeah, people go on about the length. What about the girth?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, she didn't notice it.
She's probably never done it.
I actually read another story earlier. I don't think I included it, though. There's a woman, I'll just briefly cover it, but there's a woman offering her services. She's a single mum.
Yeah.
And she's offering her services £28 to rate your penis. And she'll give you
rate your penis.
Rate it, genuinely rate it, and she's being brutally honest with people.
Oh,
so yeah.
Shit.
I mean, that was the gist of the story. But I thought, my god, 28 quid
to get abused like that.
Some people might like it.
Abuse.
Some people might be like, yeah, I know I've got a little small cock.
Yeah, there are kinky people out there who
I like being told.
Wordplay. Yeah.
So anyway.
Would you go then?
No, well, I don't need that sort of assurance, to be honest. I'm pretty chilled.
Yeah, I'm relaxed.
Go for it. So go on.
Fantastic. Let's have a look. Air crew. 2 air crew in Los Angeles airport.
Los Angeles. We love you guys out in LA.
Seen a man, or supposedly a man, on with a jetpack.
Yeah,
flying over
the Rocketeer is over LA.
But if you remember, I think it might
Good
have
on
been
him.
2012.
This is what I love. Backyard tinkerers. I said, who knows what some guys invented in his garden.
Musk had made some and sold some.
He did a bit. Yeah.
Ago,
so do you think this is one of Elon Musk's?
Been one of his. Yeah.
Just taking the jetpack out for a cruise. Out for a spin.
You bought it, and it's not going to be cheap, so you're going to use it every now and again.
True. It's a social distancing.
But a bit stupid near an airport. But then again,
that is true. Yeah, but I mean, like I say, for social distancing, that's ideal, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just be like, I'm totally away 2 meters away from everyone.
Yeah, and the way deliveries are going these days. You know what? Forget the drones, get the jetpacks out. Costs a bit more, but fuck that, the company can pay for that.
Well, we've been talking about paranormal stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this guy, talking about gadgets and stuff as well, but basically this guy set up cameras in his house because he kept finding his doors were opening on their own.
Oh.
Yeah. So he set up motion detected cameras to kind of see what was going on.
Yeah.
And, his doors, man, they just keep closing and opening on its own. Do you reckon it is? Well, basically, he's saying that...
Did you picture a shadow?
No. They wanted to investigate it, and it's been causing... catching sounds as well. He's placed the camera with an to automatically begin filming when it detects movement in the living room. Yeah.
Okay.
And he says he's... recovered, and he basically gets notifications from the phone. Yeah. So we got a notification about 11 a.m. when neither of the housemates were even in the house.
Right.
Yeah,
so
basically
no
saying that the camera detected motion. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you reckon ghosts?
No, I reckon it's his mum. Or his cleaner.
Well, it says that basically he checked the footage, and it apparently shown the door to the other room opening slowly before quickly slamming back on itself and closing again. Like a Reddit user said that no one, or what I think it's called Blin11, says that nobody was home and no shadows. So he thinks it's a ghost.
He thinks it's a ghost.
Do you think it's a ghost?
Well, proof's in the pudding, isn't it? And he's got a bit of evidence that something's going on.
I know we were talking earlier with Jade about evidence and stuff like that, and obviously the more evidence the better.
Yeah.
I put some stuff up on Twitter actually. If you're interested in getting into ghost hunting, I put up a link to equipment that you can get at home.
Yeah.
You can get. It's quite reasonable.
Yeah.
And I posted a link to a page of ghost hunting equipment and stuff like that.
Hey,
so this guy, he's kind of thought, right, I'm going to set up motion detection.
Yeah.
What's the next step? Do I go for audio? Try and capture some sounds?
I would do it the other door with sound as well.
Yeah, I'd have a motion detector on either side. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Considering. Anything else? I've got quite a lot of stories.
I've got a girl who likes flying.
Well, I've got this other haunted house one. So basically, a spooked mum's convinced her house is haunted after photographing ghost in the kitchen. So she's actually got some evidence as well, she says. So this mum's convinced that she's got a haunted house. She's captured a ghost in a kitchen. She's called Naomi Hudson Reed. She's 38. Has always felt like there was a supernatural presence in the 5-bedroomed house.
Okay.
She lives in Devon, and she thinks that she's captured something. So she was pretty shocked after she took the photograph and she saw a man's face.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, it was basically like a hairline, with receding hairline, large nose and narrow eyes.
See.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, fucking hell.
But
that's weird, man.
There is kind of like this vase lamp sort of thing in front of it with loads of holes, and it's got kind of like light shining through. So I'm wondering whether this is just one of those things where you see a face, or do you know, like it's a very mad coincidence.
She should have moved it and took a picture.
It does look pretty cool though.
Yeah.
Well, I might have to post this on Twitter and see what people think on Twitter. In fact, yes, I'm going to save the image now, and I'm going to post a poll on Twitter and see what people say. See what you think, guys, at home. Leave us a comment and let us know what you think. Yeah. Do you think this guy's a real ghost face, or do you think it's just a kind of like a trick of the mind? I think, but it is quite eerie, and especially if you already think that your house is haunted. Especially Naomi feels like her house is got a bit of a paranormal presence.
Yeah.
So,
if she's getting the feeling that something's said, and she's probably right.
Maybe. So, go on.
Did you hear about that woman who didn't realise how many retweets she would get because she started singing, and then all of a sudden, her mum fell through the ceiling.
No.
Yeah.
No, go on. Why was it? I've got a story coming up, but you're going to fucking love. Go on.
Oh, yeah.
Go on.
Well, I haven't got the story in front of me, but I was checking it out before I left my yard.
Well, that's the sort of thing that goes viral, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like as soon as, you're...
like 3 million retweets.
It's like that church that was having a church ceremony, and then, there was that explosion in... Lebanon. And it was like the whole place just got annihilated. He was just doing an online church sermon, because of Corona. So he wouldn't have been normally doing a church sermon. No. Not very many people might be watching, just his parishioners. Yeah. Or maybe a few other people. But, all of a sudden, that's got millions of retweets because something else happened. So someone falling through the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's like that day when the cat jumped on my head. And, you said, I wish I was recording that.
Yeah. It was proper,
that probably would have got more hits than the actual episode.
Yeah.
You never know, but, it's funny, isn't it?
I just wish I
just never know. I think people love things happening to people where it's like a bit morbid.
It's catching it, innit? Sometimes you can catch it, but then sometimes it's like, bastard, I wish I had the camera.
Fail videos are just like unbelievably popular. And this all goes back to, I used to watch skateboarding accident videos back in the day. And now it's like, so you can just watch them. You can put in ladder fails or anything fails and find people hurting themselves in a very specific way.
Come on, in especially certain sports, people are watching it to see that failing.
Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah, they're not there to see you win a gold medal or win that trophy. They want to see that car crash. That person.
We've said that, haven't we? It's like when you go to see car racing, like stock car or whatever, or rally. It's like, where we standing on the hairiest corner going?
Yeah,
because that's the more opportunity to see a car crash.
Yeah,
but
put it on YouTube.
Right, got a question for you.
Oh, go on then.
Right, so everyone's done this, right? Okay. That whole question where you'll be with your mates and one of them will go, so what would you do for 500 quid?
Oh, yeah.
What would you do? What are your limits?
My limits for 500 quid?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, Would you? All right, then this is the one that your mates
Trap
always pull. Oh, this is the one what your mates all pull off on you. Yeah, right. Yeah. They go, would you snog your dad for 500 quid?
No.
Would you snog your mum for 500 quid?
No.
Right. Well, this woman did.
Oh no!
Woman snogs a dad live on air to win £550. Leaving the presenter disgusted and disturbed.
Are we talking tongues here?
Yeah, she full on snogged him.
Fucking hell.
So, a woman...
Oh, man.
Fucking
hell.
What the fuck? She basically went on this radio show in Australia. And
man.
She basically fooled the Kyle and Jackie show's hosts into believing her father was actually her boyfriend to win £550.
No.
So what's that in dollars? She full on. The father and daughter left the radio presenters disturbed after going to the extreme lengths to bag the cash prize.
Well,
so the Australian radio station basically were doing a segment with a game called Boyfriend or Daddy.
Oh, what did he expect was going to fucking happen? Well, no,
because
then?
If you think about it, right, these people who have toy boys and like older men with younger women.
Yeah, but he ain't your daddy.
So it's like when there's even that phrase, isn't there? Oh, she's old. You're old enough to be a dad. Yeah, and it's like there are people who date girls. Yeah. So the game, I understand the concept of the game,
but by calling him daddy, you're pushing that limit that someone's going to have the daddy in front of him and the fucking boyfriend.
Yeah, but the radio presenters had to guess whether they were daughter and dad or man and girlfriend.
To be honest, it's not going to be much of a conclusion, but
I think it's a pretty
most
low
of them will be kissing their boyfriend.
Yes, totally. But this is it. They tried to pull a ruse out and kind of mislead them so they could win the prize. So they'd say, well, they're obviously boyfriend and girlfriend because no one's going to kiss the daughter like that.
No,
but it turned out that's exactly what happened.
Oh, have they got proof of that?
Yeah, it was on.
So she definitely kissed.
Oh yeah.
Tongues.
Yes, it was a full
probably
snog.
Fucking groping him as well.
It was a full snog.
Oh, what the fuck?
I
think some people need.
I think the prize. I mean, she was 26 and he was 49.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Obviously, they had to figure out the relationship.
But couple $100 grand
for 500 quid.
Couple $100,000.
Oh God.
Yeah, maybe.
It is like
you was worth doing.
No, because when we had this hypothetical conversation, whatever, it's always those types of things run into the millions. you know what I mean? It's not like you do it for 500 quid.
Yeah, but there are certain people. I knew someone who would do anything for basically $1 million.
Fucking hell.
And it was like, are you sure there are bigger numbers than that?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, no.
Nah, why not? Cool million.
Cheap, man.
There you go.
Cheaper.
I thought you'd enjoy that story. Let us know what you think. I think that's quite disgusting, to be honest. To try and win money on a quiz show.
And that amount of money as well. It's not, you know what I mean? That's
no, that's just selling yourself cheap, isn't it?
Yeah, what are they going to do next week? I hate to think.
It's how you how you topping that, to be fair.
You're going to give your dad a blowjob next week?
Oh, found this story here. This is weird, right? Right, so the police find the stumped at this. It's a bit of a mystery. They found vials of hamster DNA. Yeah, so they were out and about, the German police, right? And they're on a train and they've discovered these vials, right? Not got a clue what they're about. They try and investigate it and stuff like that, and it turns out that it's hamster DNA, right?
Right.
But nobody can understand why they were on this train. The federal police sent a bomb squad to investigate after the train driver found the vials. Yeah, like the police have come in and picked them up. But basically, like say, bomb squad have turned up because there was a liquid in it and they didn't know what it was. Yeah. Right.
What did they
do? So
now?
Then they've checked into it and they found out that it's hamster DNA. They put out an appeal for anybody to kind of come forward and say, can you explain what this is? Why do you need it or anything?
Hey, there are weird collectors out there.
And nobody's come forward. So yeah, if you were on a train in Germany and you lost your hamster DNA in Berlin, get in touch with them because I think they'd be quite eager to talk to you.
To talking with you. Yeah.
Just thought that was quite weird. What do you think
they'd be using it for?
I don't know, but I mean, it's like...
I think it'd be breeding. It'd be about, take to another country, then you can...
Breeding hamsters? But no, but I mean, in DNA form, you can't clone things unless, the fact is, it's like... Well, what do you mean by DNA? Is it blood? Is it vials of what?
Sounds like the white stuff.
What? Oh, well, I don't know exactly what it is.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Got the story,
no, that's all it says. But it just says hamster DNA.
But it could be. I don't know, some kind of innocent like breeding program or something. Oh,
True, but you don't know what goes on in these labs, and then if somebody's
this
lost...
is why they haven't come forward.
Well, this is how fucking things like fucking Corona get started, because things leave labs that aren't supposed to. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. You don't know what was in there, and they've been left on public transport.
That's a good point, Nate.
How do you know that's not giving something out? I mean, the fact that they know it's hamster DNA is one thing, but what else is in there? What does it contain? Do you know what I mean? You've got to think about these things. Why the hell was this left on a train?
Yeah.
But I thought it was quite intriguing, so I'm going to be looking into this and seeing if anything comes of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else you wanted discussing?
Well, if we're talking German, let's go with the man who drinks...
Oh, I read this story.
...pints of his own, and let me
He doesn't like the taste, though.
His own urine.
Yeah, there's loads of people who do that.
Yeah, but he drinks seven pints. 26-year-old sports coach.
So why does he think that's a good idea?
Well, he believes it gets rid of illnesses and stress.
Does he drink nothing but?
Ill,
you drink...
Because he's ill all the time.
Well, they say that you're supposed to drink however many pints of water a day, right?
8 pints of water.
8 pints of water a day, right? But he's just recycling his own urine.
Yeah, but that's the body's rejection area.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. It wasn't. What was your body not smart enough to take in
that's
everything
where all
it
your
needed
poison,
from the first time
that's where
round?
It gets rid of the poisons.
That's what I'm saying. So you're just putting it back into your body.
So he's giving his liver a bit more problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Afterwards.
Just
kind of clogging it up.
Just refiltering the same shit.
Actually, if I was him, I would go and just check my liver. No,
I don't. If you want to go around doing that and you think it's got health benefits to you, then go to it, mate. Yeah, but I think there's a limit. I think when you have too much of anything, and when you're only supposed to have 8 pints of water a day, and you're drinking 7 of those of urine, then you're not giving yourself much filtration. No. I mean, he might swear by it, but God knows. I don't know.
He does. Hey, well, I've heard of a guy he jacks off every morning and drinks his own fucking his own semen. It's like, what the fuck? Because it gets him his testosterone up.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently it works, but that's what he says.
Miracles of the body, eh?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, thank you for that bit of information there.
That's all right. Well,
any other people you've discovered that eat toenail clippings to keep his eyesight going, or?
No, not yet, but I'll keep my eye out. Do you spot him as well?
No, I've not seen him.
See. Well, he didn't.
Oh, man. What was it? David Blaine, man. What's he been doing recently?
He hasn't been around for a while, man.
I know, but he's just done a new stunt, hasn't he? Using balloons to fly nearly 25,000 feet above Arizona.
Oh, I hope they pop.
Like up.
I hope they pop. Did he have a parachute?
He probably had a parachute. Maybe not. David Blaine's that type of guy. I don't understand why he's called an illusionist. I mean, to an extent. But I think the stuff he does, it's more stunts, isn't it?
Yeah,
he's a daredevil
he just pulls
He's
more like Evel
stunts.
Knievel than he is a magician.
Yeah, every time I see him, he's just sitting in a box or doing something daft. Do you know what I mean?
It's always
daft. So what? This time he's took hold of about 50 balloons and went for an hour's flight above Arizona desert.
I think there was a bit more to that.
He's 47. He live streamed the whole thing on YouTube.
Got nothing to live for now, so he thought he'd go up in a balloon and see how far.
He was trying to get to Paradise Falls. That's what he was doing.
That's what he was doing.
I was like, I promised. I'm going to go Paradise Falls.
Look there, moon. I'm going there. Moon. Let's go.
The moon.
Yeah, he was looking at the moon. Cheese.
Cheese
grommet. I like my cheese.
Basically, he's just a bit of a stunt man.
Yeah, he does come across as a bit of a nutball. But...
Well, he lifted off on Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
And he aimed to be making the altitude of 18,000 feet, but reached actually 24,900, nearly 5 miles into the... Yeah.
Did better than he thought he did then.
Yeah, not bad.
How did he get back down though?
Just pop a balloon. Yeah,
I get it.
Please give me that job.
Oh, yeah, please. Yeah.
It took out too many.
I don't care if it's above the ocean.
Bless him.
Yeah. Yeah, that must have been... Yeah, that must have been a bit weird coming down, though.
I just think, like you say, he's not really done much for a while.
He hasn't. He's just trying old tricks, really, isn't it?
True. So, I've got a couple more stories, but is there anything on your agenda?
Yeah. How about a 3-year-old girl?
Go on. He's got to be fucking class. Come here,
yeah, of course. Saved.
Oh, who saved her?
She was saved when... she was at a kiting competition, festival.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah,
in
she fucking,
Taiwan.
She did a David Blaine.
She did a David Blaine, all right. She was flying all over. She at least went 40 feet up.
She popped a Blaine.
Yeah, 3-year-old man shitting herself a bit.
She reached 27,000 feet.
30 to 40 feet, they reckon.
Oh.
Yeah, and but she's all right.
Good for her. Good girl. I did see the video, and she did take off quite a bit.
But when she landed, she did say, can I go again?
Listen, we had one of those stunt kites when we were younger, right? And my nephew, we used to throw him down a hill in Heaton Park, and he used to take off about 10, 12 feet. Yeah. Good, and we never made the news.
Yeah, well, but did anyone film it?
No.
Well, that's where your problem was, wasn't
it? I've got a great story here.
A grave story?
Yeah, a great story.
Okay.
Flat Earthers quarantined.
Yeah.
After trying to find the edge of the world. They wanted to find the end of the world.
I can't wait for them to
find it. I said this. Great news. I'm glad that they're out there trying to prove it. Yeah, even if it is a big waste of time. But prove your point. Exactly, yeah. If you can't sit at home fussing and just saying it. Yeah.
If you've got the powers, go for it.
Well, unfortunately, this pair of flat earthers in Italy have been quarantined after they tried to find the end of the world.
Yeah.
A man and a woman set sail in search of the
abyss, the end, the edge.
The edge.
The edge of the turtles,
to prove that there is an edge and that obviously the world's flat. The Ministry of Health said the funny thing is, they orientated themselves with a compass. Yeah. Right, an instrument that works on the basis of magnetic field. Right, which is a principle a flat earther doesn't respect at all.
But they went round in circles. Is that why they come back? Because they found the edge?
What?
They found the edge and they thought, right, I can't go over that, so we'll have to turn back now.
Well, no, they've had to be quarantined now for some reason.
Because they're fucking nuts, that's why.
And they'll come out and say, nah, they quarantined us because we knew too much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what they'll say.
I could see that, yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah. Well, you never know, but keep dreaming.
Keep dreaming.
Keep that dream going, because if you find that edge, we got something to talk about.
Exactly. This is the thing, isn't it? It's like, you show me the edge, or show me the wall, or show me the beyond,
and
or
we'll
whatever.
show you the circle of the earth.
And we'll be like buzzing.
Yeah.
Love the fact that you've tried.
Hey, yeah, well, that's it. God loves a try, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I've got one. I think that's it. I did have one last story here, right? But it's more about how so basically Walker's crisps
the great Walker's crisps
accomplished a world record attempt, right? And it's a tweet went out. It says, congratulations to Watsits and Walker's crisp, who've created the longest puff corn crisp measuring 10.66 meters in length, and it's world record, right?
Wow.
Now I'm starting to think the Guinness World Record people are popping deals with, companies.
Yeah,
they're kind of going like, because, I seen one the other week and it was like, Dubai, most people opening a bottle of cola at the same time, at this, but it's got to be 500 people. There was no record to begin with, and they've created it and given them a benchmark.
Yeah.
Right? But
So other idiots can go out there.
But it's almost like, Guinness World Records are saying, Coca-Cola, you give us, 100 grand, and we'll make you pass a world record, and we'll gain a bit of publicity for you. And Walkers have gone, yeah, we'll do that, and what longest crisp?
Now you're making the last story about the flat earthers sound normal now.
Why?
Just by the
what
story.
You think I've got a conspiracy going? No. The big Guinness World Record conspiracy.
But the flat earthers have actually done more than Walkers did on this story.
How do you mean?
Because Walkers did on this story was just to get money in
all
their
they
pocket.
did was all Walkers did was
actually tried to see
didn't turn the machine off.
Yeah,
and they've created
it's clogged up. That's why
they've created a cheese puff corn that measures nearly 11 meters, right? But you couldn't get that in a packet.
No,
right?
Did they build the packet?
So my argument is, it's only impressive if you find a really long crisp in the wild. Do you know what I mean? Like
in the wild,
in the pub,
go on, run free,
and you open the packet, and there's a really long
full
crisp
of them ginger trails,
or a really big crisp, like where you think, "Fucking hell, that's massive," and that's lasted all the way from the factory, and I've got it here, and I've opened the packet, and I'm amazed that this crisp is still intact.
By the time you shove it in the lorry, it'll be crushed to fuck.
It's probably a world record crisp. Yeah, but then they go, because they made one in the factory that was fucking unbeatable, and you'll never find one in a packet. Because it won't fit in a packet.
Well, yeah, but
so what's the average Joe, like me or you,
bigger.
got a chance of winning a world record when it's an unbeatable challenge? Which makes me think that, what can you do that'll make a world record? Or we can just not switch our machine off and just make one really long cheese puff.
Yeah, we'll do a 24 hours, see what turns up.
So it's just a bit kind of like my sarcastic sort of...
but you are right in one sense. Some people are bored, you know what I mean?
I just think that, if the world records used to be something like, that... a bit
dedicated.
People strive to do these things where it was like amazing things. Now it's like, it seems like it's just a marketing gimmick where they can say, you want a world record, then we'll do you one for a price.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get Coca-Cola in the news for a bit, or we'll get, what's in the news.
Yeah, because the longer you stay in the news and you're always in the news, the more money
we fell for it because we're talking about it.
We are. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it's all your fault, you.
Yeah. So, that's the news, I think. Have you got anything else? Go on, what have you got? We've got some fashion news this week.
No. Brokini's still going, but no, I haven't bought
We said we should get... We were talking on Twitter before, we were saying that we might get some in the merch.
Hey, if you get here by next week, I'll wear it on the show.
Hell no.
No, don't send it, honestly. Story of a toddler, a 4-year-old now. Now, adults need to start looking after the fucking kids. Because this 4-year-old was found...
Who's watching your kids?
On
that
a
one's
unicorn,
watching the little one.
On a blown-up unicorn, 1 mile outside from the coast of Greece.
Really?
Yeah.
Just floating about?
Just floating about. She was okay, but like a ship.
She was
pulling
into
doing
port
a
and
deal.
Spotted her. She was she was probably a migrant or
no, she was on holiday.
Oh, she was on holiday. She just drifted off.
Mum and Dad went 2 seconds. I
suppose when you say she was on a unicorn, that's some bullshit inflatable thing she bought, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I was going to say, if she was in international waters, she might have been doing some
2 more miles. She fucking would have been
doing some deals.
Yeah. She could have been a drug lord.
Potentially.
Yeah,
she could have been fucking, internationally
international seas, Mike. You do what you want.
It's like in Pirates of the Caribbean, but she's she was safe then. Did she get home safe?
Yeah.
When you say that, parents need to look after the children. I mean, that could happen to anyone. I mean, if she's floating out. Yeah. I mean, did she not try and get herself back? How old was she? 5?
At 4.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, I think the parents should have been definitely watching.
You know what I mean? Yeah, floating in front of you. I mean,
for her to get that far out,
exactly, and for that long. I mean, I would have thought by the time she was half a mile out, but then it all depends on the currents. Currents going to come in fast and just gone.
whipped her away.
Yeah. I think that's probably what happened with the wind. But, you know, you do have children, look after them, keep your eye on them all the time. The little buggers,
definitely have to keep an eye on them, but fucking hell. That's crazy, man. Crazy talk.
Know, man. They both her and that other little girl lucky, I suppose, this week.
Definitely lucky.
Yeah, things could have gone totally different way in both of them.
Well, there you go. Is that the news for the week?
That is, apart from NASA. I've got a little on that.
Go on, give us your NASA news. I've got no NASA news this week because there's not really much going on in terms of NASA apart from SpaceX launching and doing another test, which was very successful.
Good.
What was it? I think it was... Let me tell you what it was called.
You do that.
I will. Don't you worry.
Yeah, you better. Don't keep
Drop some knowledge bombs on your...
That's it. Drop the knowledge, son. Drop the knowledge.
Yeah, so it was SpaceX Starship prototype. They've basically done another test. It's landed successfully for the second time. So,
sweet.
Yeah, that's all good news. But there's not really much going on this week in terms of NASA. I'm sure there is. Behind the scenes, but nothing that we're privy to.
Yeah, if we were, then use it.
Unfortunately.
Well, my NASA news is NASA's Europa's Clipper mission for 2024. They basically want to land. They want to put a satellite and try and land summit on Europa so they can check the waters underneath.
Oh, right, okay.
Check the environment and see if anything's living there.
They're getting out and about now, aren't they?
Good, man.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, they're stuck in limbo now.
They're kind of why?
Because the mega rocket has been delayed.
The mega rocket
that was supposed to carry it. There's no other spare rockets at the minute, and it's been running over budget as well.
Mega rocket comes part of the pack of the rocket.
So I don't even think they're going to even have a rocket until like 2021. I think next year is possible, but. And it's all about timing as well. They need to,
they've got a deadline. Yeah. They've given themselves a deadline for this.
Yeah,
so
the planets
I'm sure that everything's kind of on track. And
well, they did have a break, didn't they? Last couple of months.
So, well, who knows what's going to happen? I mean, we could all just get left behind. So don't worry about it.
Definitely,
100%. Unless you do one of those kind of like lotteries.
You never know.
What was that film? Was it Deep Impact or something?
Yeah, I think Deep
where
Impact,
they all did a lottery and it was like you can come but you can't.
Well, from what the last list I seen of
was I on it? Yes.
No, you was at the bottom.
Damn.
Yeah, you were right at the back. You were behind the bus boy.
Behind the T-boy.
Yeah. But if you really want to be on the top of the list, on the top game is Builder. Builder is the top
man. There you go, yeah. I hear this. This is why Australia, they have like thingies, don't they? I mean, they have preferred professions lists.
Yeah.
And I think builder and hairdresser and stuff like that's on it.
Yeah.
A nurse and, obvious ones. But, builder's up there, innit?
Yeah, builder's right at the top of the list.
There you go. So
that was the last time I seen the list.
I've never seen it. I've never actually seen the list, but, I think that's it for the news. We've got a new featured podcast this week. Yeah, Malice. Check Malice out. Malice. Join host Ariel as she dives into the psychology, sociology, and environments of dysfunctional families and all that sort of stuff. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And we've got a promo we're going to play now.
We are.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ariel Cooksey, host of Malice. When violent acts occur, we tend to think the predators are monsters. Surely no human could do such things. But if we're honest, only humans commit malicious crime. And if you're like me, you want to know why. To find out, join me at Malice wherever you listen to podcasts. Bye.
There you go.
Lovely,
you can check out Ariel and the Malice podcast wherever you get your podcast fix.
Everywhere.
There you go. Check out the link in the description. It's all good.
It's all good.
Thanks. Have you had a think about the riddle this week?
You know what? For the first 10 minutes, I was trying to fucking
work it out. Did you get anywhere?
But then it was like, right, I've got to get on with the rest of the show here.
Right.
So I had to put my
So I'm going to
mind
give you a bit of another chance. You've had a bit of a chance to forget about it, and you might come to it a bit fresh now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fresh and, quite...
All I keep thinking of is, like, traffic lights.
I know you are.
And it's get away from that and onto something
the other
else.
Yeah. Think of it as totally not traffic lights, right? So, you go at red, but you stop at green. What am I?
Is it airplanes? No. Ships?
Nope.
No. Nah. It's
Do you want me to give you a clue?
Yeah, go on.
Right, you can ask me whether it's a plant or a vegetable or a
tomato
vehicle.
Vehicle?
Yeah, you've just been going on about vehicles.
Is it a vehicle?
No, it's not a vehicle.
So it's a... right, okay, so it's a plant.
Oh, it's along them lines. We'll be here all day.
Yeah,
do you want to get the answer?
Yeah,
right, you go at red, but you stop at green. What am I? If you know at home and you've been shouting
Screaming
out, thank you very much. The answer is a watermelon.
Oh. Right, okay.
Oh, you go at the red bit, but you stop at the green bit. Hey.
True.
There you go.
Unless you're an animal,
and we'll be coming back with another live riddle next week. We'll have several riddles next week where we'll be giving you a chance
and my mind
to maybe win a few prizes as well if you can get the answer before Taylor, which won't be hard.
I'm not really doing great at the moment, am I?
I think you've got one by accident.
Yeah, I got one.
Since we started doing the riddles.
But,
well.
Hopefully I'll have time.
He's going to start...
If you think about it, you're giving it me for like a couple of minutes and then I'm trying to think of it and then it's like, no. Right,
you need you need to be on it.
Yeah.
Rappy.
Yeah, but then I'll be quiet in the corner.
I'll try and give you an easy one.
My mind will be like...
That's what makes it fun.
Computer, yeah.
Well, got some Patreon shout-outs.
Yeah.
Hey! Yeah, big shout-out to Big J.
Yes, Big J.
All the support. Thanks so much, mate.
Yeah, man.
Woohoo! Sleepy time. Yes. Big shout-out to Dunk.
Dunk.
Absolute hero.
Yeah, man.
Woo! Just bring me my bedside cabinets tomorrow. Joke. Yep, indeed. Big shout-out to Jessie G. I hope you're doing well, chick.
Yeah, girl. Keep enjoying.
Absolute amazing dude. Big shout out to Swoosh.
Swooshy, yeah, man. Let's get Sadie Dog out.
For her walkies. Shout out to Chantel.
Yeah, Chantel.
Thanks for all the support.
Thank you very much.
And we've got some honourable mentions as well today. Yeah. Big shout out to Harriet. Thank you for absolutely everything. Do you know what? She's always like, yeah, I'm going to do a bit of spot cleaning. I'm going to listen to the podcast.
Yes.
Absolute doll.
Good girl.
Big shout out to Gareth.
Yes, Gareth, keep trucking, son.
Absolute superstar. Well, hope you're well. Big shout out to Bob. Been round his house helping him out, doing some bits and pieces this week.
Yes, Bob.
Big shout out to Big Papa, Mr. Crabtree.
Yes, Mr. Crabtree.
Absolute legend. Yeah, thanks for all the support. Badoosh. Absolute legend too. Yeah. If not one in the same. Yeah. Who knew? Big shout out to the Duke of Marmalade.
Dookie. Yeah, man.
Big shout out.
Well there, son.
Hope you're doing good, Bri. Jimmy Evans, big shout out.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Shawnee and Chris.
Yeah, Shawnee and Chris.
Excellent. Thanks for listening. Shout out to Agent Coulson.
Yeah, man.
Mikey's Collectibles. Hope you're coming into the show next week.
Yeah, he should be here.
Big shout out to Liz Reader.
Yes,
still need to start your book, and she's asked me to help her with something else now as well. Everyone wants my help at the minute.
They do.
Big shout out to I'm a professional.
You are.
Big shout out to Big Jake, Jake. Big shout out to Oggy.
Yeah.
And Sergeant Slaughter.
Yes,
big shout out to Sergeant Slaughter. Yeah. Absolute wrestling legend. Man. And also, big shout out to Hello Fresh. Well, that's the end of the show. Thanks for everybody getting involved. Especially, big shout out to Jason. over in Conway, wasn't it?
Yes.
For What's Fucked Up, where you're from. So don't
up.
forget, get a ticket to the raffle.
Yes.
We're live next week. We'll be available from about 9 o'clock UK time.
Yeah.
Over on YouTube. We'll be posting links. So hopefully see you there. Get involved. Ask us a question live on the show. Watch as long as you can be asked. But we'll be on for quite a while.
All the way.
You can get us on all the podcast platforms, but make sure you subscribe to YouTube and you won't miss us.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to ask us any questions, you can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. We're available on Twitter at NASA_never, and we've been hitting Instagram quite a lot more lately. So you can find us on there at Never Straight Answer. Thank you to Jade for all your excellent work tonight, answering all our questions. Really pleased to have you on, and like I say, we'll have you on again at another time. That's it. Oh yeah, if you want to become a Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/neverstraightanswer, and it really helps us out. You don't know how much it helps. You can get some merch over at the website, and all the other stuff is available at the website as well at neverstraightanswer.co.uk. Yeah. Have I missed anything? No. Right. Yeah. Well. Oh yeah. Get yourself some merch. I tell you, I've just got my new T-shirt. The new designs are out.
Yes. You can see it next week.
Yes. And thank you for everybody who stayed till the very, very end. Yes, really appreciate it. You're an absolute legend and a super NASA warrior. Yeah. We'll catch you next time.
You will.
For our 100th episode.
Yeah. Looking forward, but have a shaving a
haircut.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully it'll be special. So we'll catch you next time. I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
Peace.
Son.